Hi everybody, it's Claire and welcome to the second of 5 tutorials on this wonderful wreath page from Joanna Basford's World of Flowers. If you are following along, you'll know that this is a dawn sunrise scene. So if I just show you the original that we're working to. So this is the beautiful piece that we'll be replicating overall. And today, tutorial 2, we're going to be looking at adding the river. And it's really simple, I promise. It's a beautiful effect, but I promise you it's really simple. So let me just put this out of the way. I have my pencils ready. So what I'm going to do first quickly is, you'll remember if you saw the first tutorial that we've drawn in a little tiny riverbank. So the river isn't perfectly flat to the hills. We've got a little soily riverbank here, and all I've done is very simply pull out my Sandbar brown Prismacolor pencil PC1094, and just where we've laid in on the concave curves, I'm just going in a medium firm pressure. I'm just going to lay in a tiny bit of Sandbar brown just to indicate the banks of the river. Okay. So we get a little bit wider the further you got forward in the perspective, because clearly you're closer. And I'm being careful to cover up the pencil lines. But we if you remember, we only pressed on very lightly with the pencil, so you shouldn't have to go over too hard. Okay. Now remember, we'd only see the banks on these concave pieces of the river, because clearly as it goes round this curve, the banks would be facing in this direction. So we just need to draw them on this side. Okay, really easy, just block colouring basically, medium firm, and again on this side. Like that. Again, a little bit wider. Like that. And then I think we'll have some from about just a little curve there, I think. Because remember this bit we'd said we were going to do like a little sandbank, some little pebbles. There we go. Really easy. Okay, so I can put my sandbar down now. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently rub out that little line there, because I want that all to be pebbles. I don't want a riverbank on there. Let me just grab my my pencil. There we go. So I think what we'll do actually is, before we go onto the river, we'll just finish off the little pebbles. And we kind of only want an impression of pebbles. So we're not going to draw anything. We're just going to do tiny little circles of grey, just to indicate that there's some rocks there. So what I'm going to do for this, I think, is zoom in, and I'll adjust my book so that you can see I am here. And as I say, what I've pulled out are some grey pencils. I'll tell you what they are. Let me just grab my line peel. So I have my French greys. So I have my 90% PC1076. I have my 70%, which is PC1074. I have 50% French grey 1072, 30% 1070, 20% 1069, and I've also pulled out my line peel PC1005, and that's just to give a little indication of kind of wetness of moss on the rocks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my darkest. I'm going to start with my 90%, and I am literally, all I'm going to do with this little rock bank, this little sandbank here, I'm just going to put tiny little circles in at random, medium firm pressure, because we're just giving the impression of stones, and try and make them kind of, you know, different sizes and place them at random. Really easy. Okay. And then we're going to go to our 70% and do exactly the same. And basically all we're going to do is fill this space and just give the impression of pebbles. And we don't have to be clever with drawing. We just need to give an impressionistic view. %. And I know you're all looking forward to seeing how I did the river. So we'll move on to that quickly when we've done this. 30%. And just gradually fill that space up with little circles. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something slightly different. I'm going to jump from my 30 to my lime peel. And I'm not going to put very many in here because I just want the odd indication of some wet, kind of mossy rocks. And then what I'll do is I'll fill in the very last bits with my 20% French grey. So I'm just going round all the little gaps. Okay. Then what I think I'll do is I think I'll check that you can see the totality of the river so that I don't have to keep moving the book while we're doing the water. Do I need to move it over this way a little bit? There we go. Right. Now, let me tell you what I've pulled out here. First up, I've got my white blender pencil again, my Chinese white drawing, and I have just a white jelly roll pen. It doesn't have to be any brand, it just has to be a white gel pen with a, you know, like just a medium nib, really. Doesn't have to be anything special. Prismacolors. I have Copenhagen blue, PC906. I have peacock blue, PC1027. I have non-photo blue, 919. And I have sky blue light, 1086. And they're the colours of my water. Now what we are also doing, I'll refer you back to this again, is catching the dawn sunlight in the water. So clearly I need some of the colours that I used for the sunshine. So what I've pulled out again is my salmon pink PC1001, my light peach PC927, and my canary yellow PC916. And we're going to work dark to light. So I'm going to start with my Copenhagen blue. And if you've seen my tutorial on the velvet curtains and the flower petals, it's very similar to that technique, only what we're going to be doing is we're going to be only using horizontal strokes. So right throughout colouring this, this river, we will be using horizontal strokes only, okay? So I've got my Copenhagen blue, and this is medium firm. And I'm just going to just outline some of that river at the back. And then what I'm going to do is, and remember we haven't got as much width here because it's in perspective in the background. So my lines, when I pull them out, are going to be pretty short. And I'm just doing this at random. And I'm not going to go down all the way with my Copenhagen blue because I want some of this edge to be a lighter blue. That's why I've got my peacock blue. Okay? So be careful not to go over your sandbar that we've placed so carefully. Horizontal strokes, like this. And we're not going to take it too far into the middle of the river because that's where we want the reflection to be. And what we will do is we will leave the page blank in little places so that we can add the lighter colours later on. Medium firm pressure, random. And I can start pulling that a little bit further out now. I told you this was easy, didn't I? Just keep your strokes horizontal, okay? Now as we get down to the wider part of the river, I'm actually going to start putting some just at the sides, like that. Again, random shapes, but always with horizontal strokes. And what I'll do is I'll kind of do down to about here. And then I'll go back and finish off in all of these details in between the flowers, because that'll save you watching something that you know how to do without it taking too long for you. Medium firm pressure. Apologies if you can hear Freckle. I haven't got my husband with me at the moment, so he's not there to shut him up. So I'm going to go back and do exactly the same with this side. Okay? Oh, we're stringing them together now, look. Hopefully he'll shut up in a minute. Right. So again, just some random ones away from the riverbank. I need to get him on a video, you know, at some point, because you'll absolutely love him. He's a chocolate spot Dalmatian. And he hasn't been very well. He's had spinal surgery. So he's literally been learning to walk again, bless him. He had his operation at the end of November. And he's doing quite well. He's not back to normal, I would say, but he's doing really well, considering he's 9 years old. So again, random horizontal strokes. And we're leaving this in the middle as white. Okay. There we go. Medium firm. Right, so I can put my Copenhagen blue down for now. I'm going to go to my peacock blue. And because this is also quite a deep blue, I'm going to keep it towards the outer edges. Okay? But I'm just going to kind of follow the pattern of the Copenhagen blue. So in the same way we followed the pattern with the flower petals and the velvet curtains, medium firm, I'm following the pattern of what I've laid down. Okay? And then where I've left back gaps here, I'm going to fill a few of those in. Not all of them, but it's just really to get you the random placement of the blues. Because if we did all of the edges in the same colour, it would look a bit weird. It would look a bit odd. Water kind of just ripples at random, really. And depending what's under the water in terms of where the rocks are, you'll find highlights at different places. And that's one of the good things about this tutorial, because you'll be able to put your own stamp on it. So your river won't look the same as my river, and other people's rivers will be entirely different as well. So you get to stamp a little bit of your own individuality on it. Horizontal strokes, medium firm. And you can see I'm not stopping to really blend, because I'm just going over the edges of what's already there, following the pattern. And these pencils blend beautifully on their own. They save us a lot of work. They're my favourite pencils. So again, just putting some random bits in. Start again at this side. And I try to keep things easy because it means that you guys can interpret it and you're not struggling to replicate it. They're easy techniques. I'm just going over that sandbar very slightly there. Just going to go back. There we go. Like that. slightly there. And it doesn't matter if you leave little gaps like this, because we're going to fill it all in with lighter blues. And it's actually quite nice if you leave the little gaps, because it's, like I say, it's just random. But in general, I'm following the pattern of the Copenhagen blue, taking care with my pencil strokes. Like that. And it doesn't matter if your pencil gets slightly blunt, because we're not putting in fine lines, if you know what I mean. Putting in quite chunky lines. Okay, so I can put that down. Then I'm going to go to my non-photo blue. And basically we just do the same. Just here and there, follow the pattern. Horizontal strokes. Again, medium firm. I'm just going to do this little side bit that I've got. And can you see how that beautiful colour's starting to come together? It looks like the water's rippling. Easy, I promise. I promise you'll be able to do it. And like I say, I'll go back and do this detail down here when I've got a bit more leisure time away from the tutorial. But this will show you how to do it. It will show you how to do all of it. Do a little bit down here. I'm just going to alter my wrist slightly there, just to go back and do that horizontal stroke a little bit more carefully, like that. Just so I'm taking a bit of care. Like so. Okay. Then we're going to go to sky blue light. Now I'm being careful to leave those gaps for where we're going to put the reflection colours. And this is why I said in the previous tutorial that you can put rocks in here, but because the light is coming down in this straight line, I just think putting rocks in would make this difficult in terms of adding the light reflection, because you'd be colouring around it. It's up to you, entirely up to you. And again, this is all medium firm pressure. Let's do this little bit at the side. Okay, now we get to play. So I'm going to take my 3 sunshine colours. So if you remember, we used the canary yellow on the outside of the sun, then we used the salmon pink as this outer ring, and then we used the beautiful light peach to go into the blue. And that's the colours of the sun that I want to capture on this water. So I'm going to take my salmon pink first. And I'm not going to cover all the white bits. I'm just going to colour a few. Again, horizontal strokes, medium firm. You know, and you can put the sunlight to this side of the river and kind of, you know, like a little bit over here. You know, it doesn't have to necessarily just come in a straight line. You know, it would catch the water a little bit at the sides as well. Just gone onto my leaf there, so I've just got my Tombow mono eraser, just making sure it's clean. Okay. Right. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to go to my light peach and I'm going to fill in most of the rest of those gaps in white. Horizontal, medium, firm pressure. And can you see how well that works for something so simple? And wait till you see the yellow go on. So I'm just going, and what happens is clearly if you mix blue with yellow, you get green. So we will also, you will see the canary yellow, but you will also see that where I go over slightly, the blues turns to a wonderful green colour as well. Look at that. It's beautiful, beautiful colours. Okay. So I'm going to leave it there for the colouring. What we just need to do is I'm just going to have a look and see if there's, so can you see there's kind of a couple of harsh lines there. So I'm just going to, with my white blender pencil, with my white Chinese white, but if I see a harsh line, I'm just going to meld it a little bit into the other colours like that. I want my sandbar there because I'm just going to clean that line up there. Yep, happy with that. Just missed a tiny bit of river out there, look. Pick a blue at random and just fill it in. Yeah, so I think that's pretty okay for the blender. And now, the last finishing touch is your white gel pen. So I'm just going to make sure that this is working. Yes, it is. Very lightly. So I'm hardly going to hold this firmly in my hand. And I'm going to hold it at a shallow angle. And I'm just going to put in at random, again, horizontal little lines. Just to give the indication that the water's breaking as it goes over some little stones underneath. And what you would find is that where we've got the pebble bank here, there would probably be more kind of little water breakers. And it's quite effective on the darker blues. So I'm barely touching, I'm just giving the impression that the water is running, giving it speed and life. And that, you lovely lot, is it for today. And I hope you give it a try because you gave me some wonderful feedback on the river. What will we be doing next? So tutorial 3, we will have a look at the, if I get my original, tutorial 3, we will have a look at the hills and the fir trees and the rocks in the background. But that's it for the second tutorial for the river and the water, and I hope you've enjoyed it and that you give it a go. Any questions, drop me a line. Bye for now.